the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I like the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. I like the girls with their nails done.
All right, good morning, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back to the stream. How we doing? CPI today. Morning, guys. Welcome back. Happy Wednesday. Yeah, feeling a little bit better. Definitely. It's about gone. It's about gone, which is good. Feeling much better. Right in time for some CPI trading. Love it. All right. Yesterday, good day. We longed that NVIDIA overnight, which gave us a little bit of a selling opportunity in the morning. If you guys are part of the group, you know we were sort of taking profits on that. Amazon, unfortunately not holding it anymore, but Amazon, one of the strongest names on the market, I would say. So had a nice swing trade on Amazon into yesterday. That was beautiful. Palantir still holding some, but doing okay. There's a big watch that I'll talk about today at $33. And then that early morning rejection, guys, that was really the trade of the day for me yesterday. If you guys were paying attention in the live stream yesterday, early morning, we talked about, the morning trade potentially being that rejection of the 549 and the 50 SMA on the S&P 500 on the ETF. And that was really exactly what we traded yesterday. That was it for me. That was my one and done. Everything else was just closing swing trades. But in terms of the day trades yesterday, it was just this morning rejection off our 549, right? And off our QQQ 458, which was really nice. Ended up working out really nicely. I only took this rejection. I'll show you guys here. 1 second. I only played this right here. So I was in here, played this downside. Was not in for this one, which was really the juicy one. And that was another nice setup if you just sort of stayed short under our supply yesterday at 548. So really nice levels yesterday, respected very nicely. Even on the downside move, man, this was perfect. Even on that downside move, perfect holds of the 542. And this was something that we actually longed yesterday. And guess what, right? That's that same level that if you guys will always remember 5440 now if you're part of the group. 5440 was the level that I longed on Monday that made a lot of people upset and ended up making a lot of money off of that on Monday, and I did the exact same thing yesterday. So longed 5440 intraday yesterday. That was around 12 o'clock. I'll go ahead and find that. So I'll talk to you a little bit about why I did that before, just waiting for some people to step in here. Got 2 more minutes to just sort of mess around. So yesterday, let me go ahead and find that if I can show you what it looked like at the time. There we go. All right. So right around here, yeah, right around here, guys, we had that QQQ at that 452, which was really nice, right? Our 452 demand on the Qs. So we had that nice supply rejection intraday, came down into that 452, which created that really nice afternoon upside. This was also, how's that? This was also where I longed SPX 5450s off the 100 SMA on the ES, and said how I would not short, right? I would not short into that 5440 and that 100 SMA down here. And that was pretty much right here, right? That was right here. So these ran for about 300%, the 5450s. I got the 5450s at 10. I entered them at 10 yesterday. They went up to 50. So that was big. Those were really big. That was $50. That was 5x on this pop yesterday. I only took about 60%. I just grabbed this little long here, but these things ended up really moving, the 5450. So that was really nice. Key levels just leveling, man. That's all it is, right? That's just key levels leveling. And so really nice day yesterday. And today it's all about CPI. So let's get into the economic data. Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's move on. It's 8:05. Welcome, everyone. Press that like button if you could. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're here every single day starting at 8 o'clock. I'd appreciate if you guys could show some support. Press that like button. What is going on with my... There we go. All right. So today, right here, CPI. This is the big event, and we are sitting at some major levels right as we start this live stream, right? Major levels on the market as we head right into the CPI. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be definitely something to enjoy, watch, and see what happens. I have about $5,000 in an October swing trade right now. That's about the only risk I have. And if that thing doesn't work out, so be it. I am long, as you guys probably have heard me talk about, I am long the SMH. Off this 200 SMA. I have about 5K in an October contract, so looking to see if there's some opportunity on this pullback on semiconductors towards that 200 SMA. If CPI does have a nice reaction, then I think semis, find a nice footing. So that's where I'm putting a little bit of risk, but nothing that's gonna make me rich or make me blow up my account. But that's where my risk is this morning. It's a little bit of SMH exposure, long exposure. You guys can see right here, that's 8:30 today. Let's see what happens on that CPI. Crude oil inventories, 10 o'clock. 10-year bond auction at 1 o'clock. Tomorrow, PPI. You guys can see right here, PPI. That's normal after the CPI. The next day, PPI. Natural gas storage, 30-year bond auction. And that's really it. So this is really it right here, guys. The next two mornings at 8:30 is the big events. After that, it's really nothing. A little bit of consumer sentiment and inflation expectations here on Friday to be watching out for. That's at 10 a.m. Will not, guys, red alert, pay attention. Will not be here Friday, okay? So, unfortunately, I didn't want to do that. Unfortunately, no Friday for me. I will not be on the live stream. So, go head over to maybe TB's live stream, Trade Brigade. Tell him I sent you on that Friday. He'll be able to cover what you need to see, what you need to know on that Friday. So, yeah, that's that. Yeah, another bachelor party, man. Another bachelor party. All my friends are getting married. So, no Friday. Won't be here, but I'll be here up until this Thursday. This is really the juicy stuff. Friday, I think a good day to just sort of walk away, man. So that's that. All right. Kzen, appreciate that. Kzen. You were not in voice on the ES bounce. The message was buried in Discord. Here we go. Here we go. Well, if you, I added everyone on the trade, and if you missed it, then oh well. Guess what? If you paid attention to the levels we talked about in the trade, in the market, in the live stream, if you paid attention to the levels that I talk about every day, you probably could have found that trade yourself, right? Maybe you find the trade yourself, right? You say, hey, look, Desi talked about this 54.40 the day prior. Desi longed the market off the 100 SMA the day prior, right? This is a very important demand level, right? This is a very important demand level. Maybe I'll look to trade this without Desi telling you. So, yeah, think about that. So, yes, right here. There it is. At everyone. That's a message that goes out to everyone. That is when I entered. But, man, could you believe it? Could you believe it? We don't have a jacuzzi. All right. Let's get started. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to stay tuned, appreciate some more likes. 1,600 people, 500 likes. Press that like button. Can we get 1,000 likes before CPI? Can we get 1,000 likes before CPI? Here we go. Let's take a look at this too, huh? Here's another one, right? Desi TA provided every morning around 7 a.m. Potential scalps off 5,400 or 5,440 demand, right? Very possible trade there, right? Demand at a 100 SMA below. I do not like shorting into these levels. I would be interested in longing that 5,440 level again today. I will be more particular with my entry at this time. Wow, right? Hey, right? Let me build my plan. 5,440, I like that level. Market's trading down into 5,440 and the 100 SMA yesterday. Look at this, right? Maybe I start to look for that potential long down in this demand zone. Look at that. All right. Let's get started. So, let's play golf. Let's go golfing. So today, it's all about 18,850. 18,850 on the NASDAQ futures. That's what it's all about here. You guys can see right here, 18,850, 18,850, and 18,850, man. This is going to be the major spot. This is going to be the major spot. Can't hear, can't trade. 18,850, you guys can see right here. Previous lows, right, on the NASDAQ futures that we are rejecting as of yesterday afternoon. So this is the level that I need to see the NASDAQ get above today. If I believe there is an opportunity for upside, right? Join them both. If we get over 18,850 and we turn it back into support, that is where I would definitely look to get some more long exposure on this market. I believe if the market can reclaim these lows, right, on a CPI move, that we could see the market trade, right, back in this channel here. So maybe, right, have an entry long off the 18,840, right, and see if that long does set up something towards maybe that 19,140, right, or maybe that 19,000. But this does not play unless we get a bullish move on CPI and we hold over 18,840. That is a must for the bulls today, right? So you see the live stream title, the must break levels for bulls, right? This is it. You have to be over 18,840. If you are not, this is nothing more than a bear flag, right? This is nothing more than a bear flag on this market back in the 18,850. And if that CPI comes out negative, right, this is nothing more than this, okay? This is a must for the bulls. And this is really just the key inflection point, in my opinion. Look how clear this inflection point is going to be. And it's funny how we trade right into it before this major event. So that is it, right? If you get over this 18,850, I think you could see a little bit of upside potential off this level. I think you could possibly see some upside towards this 19,140. That will be the next big test, right? That's your next big test up here. We'll have to see what happens if we even get to that point. That's the 19,140, 19,200, and the 100 SMA, right? That's the next big test above. So today, 18,850, man. Let's see what happens. Let's just wait, see what happens on the economic data, on the CPI. If we see some upside come in above that level, then I would expect a little bit of strength above that level, right? And probably just start to trade within this channel here, right? But you could probably scalp something from channel low to channel high, right? That's very possible. So very nice here. Here's that channel. Can we get back above? Can we get back above these lows right here, 18,850? That's the big question. If not, if those previous lows start turning into rejections here, right, then this is a potential weak move on the market that is all about to be decided in about 15 minutes. So we shall see. QQQ, it's pretty much the same thing here, guys. We can see this sort of bear flagging move back to the upside. That is only a bear flag, though, is if we see these rejections at this 458. 458, right, previous lows. 458, do we get above it, right? Do we hold above it, or is this a break? Bear flag retest the 458 for more downside? That's the question, right? Is this previous low going to hold as a rejection level here today? If it does, then on CPI, and the CPI causes downside, then this looks like a very good short opportunity, possibly down to 455, back to 452, back to 450. That's definitely something to watch. Now, if the CPI has some hold to it, right, and we do see some strength post-CPI, and we do reclaim this 458 level, right, and this previous low over here does turn back into support, then I would assume you trade back in this channel here with new lows being formed around 458, right, with new highs potentially up at that 464. So all about whether we get back. Basically, guys, the question is, do we get back in this channel, right? Do we reestablish these lows? That is the question of the day. And I hope you can sort of understand why that's so important. I hope you can see that on the charts. It's very obvious. It's very clear. Can we reestablish these lows, right? Or do these lows establish a new high? That is the question, right? That is the without a doubt question that needs to be answered here. Do we establish these lows again? Or do those lows turn into new highs? That is the question. So let's see. S&P 500 futures, you guys can see right here. I think it's around this 5506. That is very clear. Previous lows, right? Some of these previous levels, right? And you can see the rejections that came in yesterday. Can we reestablish this channel above this 5506? As of right now, you can see we're sort of rejecting that. Rejected it here yesterday, still under it in the pre-market today. So interesting. Can we reestablish this channel? Can we turn that 5506 level back into holds? Can we trade back maybe up into this 5570? That's the question that I'd like to answer. If we do not, and the market sees weakness post-CPI, then this could be sort of that bear flagging move, right? Sort of this bear flagging move. Something like this, right? Bear flagging move that causes more downside. We need to see if the ES can establish back above that low. 5506 right now is the level that I'm watching. We'll have to sort of get an idea. I think it's around this low right here, which is around that Wednesday low. It's not as clean as you'd like, right? It's a little bit sloppy over here. So I'm going to have to sort of adjust as we sort of trade. But as of right now, I got the 5506, which is the same as that previous day high. So I'm going to keep that on my charts there, 5506. All right, now I'm going to talk about something that is a very aggressive sort of, guessing type analysis that I am not trading based off of, but definitely something that I would consider here and be aware of, okay? In the short term, right? In the short term, there's undoubtedly the downside trend, right? We have definitely seen sort of that downside trend in the short term, right? This is a week of price action, guys. So short term, undoubtedly downside pressure and, the downside trend on the market, okay? That is without a doubt, and I would agree with everyone that says that. That's in the short term, okay? That's only a week of price action. Now, if we go to the daily chart, and I want to challenge you to make sure you're watching this on all time frames, because there is more than just the 2-minute chart in this trading game, guys. And I will challenge you here, because when we move out to that daily chart, this to me is not a level that I think is going to be easy to break below. And this to me could be, right, a retracement back to 5,400 that leads, right, to the next move higher. I believe that is very possible here when I look at this on the daily chart. When I look at it on the short term, I see the weakness. But when I zoom out on this daily chart, this 5,400 level that I have been talking about all week, last week and this week, that we have held very aggressively here, is not something to just say, nah, right, we're going down, right? This is not a level to just say, we're going down, right, and ignore what's going on this daily chart. This, to me, is a very important hold that has started to come in. And 5,400, you can see, was a major previous level that kept this market down in the beginning of March and in June, right? I'm sorry, in May. March, April, May, we could not get above 5,400. It kept the market lower. Right here in June, we turned 5,400 into support and pushed higher off that level. Now, over the last few months, it's been a little bit messy, right? We had a big downside move here back into the 200, which held aggressively. And now here today, we can see that 5,400 over the last few days really stepping up on this market. So if I pull out a Fibonacci retracement, which is actually quite an interesting thing here, if I pull out this Fib Boy, which I know the Fib Boys may love this. If you pull out a Fib Boy from this low to this high, right? From this move that just happened over in August, right? If you pull out a little Fib Boy retracement there, this is a 50% retracement at 5,400 on the dot, a 50% retracement of this upside move, right? So that is something you need to keep in mind, man. You cannot just say, oh, we're going lower, right? This on the daily chart, to me, would absolutely, right, if the market sees a strong move over the coming weeks, coming months, off this 5,400, I would not be surprised in the slightest. That would be a very interesting hold of 54, right? Maintain that level. And, yeah, I would not be surprised to see it. Now, of course, guys, you don't really trade off this type of analysis into CPI. If CPI can confirm this, that's when I would start to look to play it, right? If CPI can be strong today, and we do see the markets be somewhat resilient today, that's when I would look to maybe play this idea. But into CPI, it's tough, right? Because this CPI could just sort of fail us. And, you know, if we break 5,400, I'm going to give you the devil on my shoulder, or the, what's it called? What's it called when you take the other side? Not contrarian, but devil's advocate. If you want to take devil's advocate here, a break under 5,400 is sort of like a nail in the coffin, in my opinion. A really clear break and hold below 54, that would be, to me, a little bit of a nail in the coffin here. That would be a pretty ugly move in the market, right? That, to me, would feel like a very, very toppy market if we start to see rejections back under 54, right? That would be no bueno, in my opinion. So we'll see, right? This is just an analysis, guys, that I wanted to share. I would not be surprised to see that market hold that 5,400 and continue higher. I would not be surprised in the slightest. In terms of technicals, right? If I had to tell you what I think would happen here in terms of technicals, rather than having CPI in the way, my side would be upside, right? My bias here would be upside, you know, if it was just technicals. But CPI is too big to just trust technicals. You just can't do it. As much as you love to, You just can't, which is just an unfortunate thing, right? Because, man, do I want to trust the technicals. But you just can't do it into economic data like CPI with how much focus is on the inflation numbers, how much focus is on interest rates. It's just too tough. So, anyways, let's move on. Before this data comes out in about 5 minutes, let's go over the SPY. Really, the SPY needs to get over 549 today, guys. That's the key. 549. SPY needs to get above it. Right here, 549, 549. That's the 50 SMA. That's a very clear level. Without a doubt, the SPY needs to get above 549. So that's what you're watching today. If the SPY can push through 549 on data today, I think the market can find a little bit of footing, maybe into this 551.50. But honestly, I would assume you start to trade within this channel, right? 549 right here. If you can get back above it today and find strength above it, I'd say you probably trade back into this channel high. You're trading back maybe into that 555, right, which is that major spot. If you do not see strength today and you see this rejection of 549 off CPI and that 50 SMA, then this could really be sort of that bear flagging move back down to 545.50, back down to 542, right? Maybe even back down to that 100 SMA. So all about 549 today on the SPY. Let's see what happens here in about 5 minutes. Okay, let's go to IWM real quick, and we got to go over. Actually, let's go over the Mr. Jones, because we got to give a moment of silence for what's his name? Sorry, now I'm forgetting his name. He passed away yesterday. James Earl Jones. Shout out James Earl Jones. Rest in peace, James Earl Jones. Daniel Jones. Rest in peace to that man as well, man. Rest in peace to Daniel Jones. Rest in peace to James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader. The voice of Darth Vader. And for that, we have to go over the Jones, the Dow Jones. So, man, Daniel Jones is so bad. Oh, God. Oh, the Giants are so bad. It's going to be so painful. I hate it. God, they suck. They need to figure something out, man. The Giants need to figure something out. What's it going to be? I don't know what it's going to be, but it's not good. Let me zoom out here. It looks like it's like this 40,500 spot and this 50 SMA that's starting to step up here. 40,000 right here, 40. Yeah, so right here, guys, on the Dow right here, 40,500, starting to step up alongside that 50 SMA. So I'd watch that 40,500 on Dow. You guys can see right here. Look how this is stepping up. See that? So watch that. That's definitely a nice strong level down there. And then very clear. So this is just a channel, guys. It's about a 100-point channel, 600-point channel. Very clear. All right. 3 minutes. Let's go over the IWM real quick. So IWM holding on to that 207, 209. You're really just stuck in this 2-point range, man. You need to get out of this. You need to get out of this range on the IWM. Can you get over 209? If you can, 212. If you get under this 100 SMA and 207, though, there's no bueno. Call up Manning. Man, you never know what I was watching yesterday. I was watching Odell highlights with Eli Manning, and it was a beautiful sight. It was a beautiful sight. All right, guys. We'll take 2 minutes here. Yeah, I guess I like that, Alex. Little 2 minute. Let's take a 10-second little remembrance of 9/11. That was a crazy time. So that's today, 9/11. Always got to remember that. Never forget, for sure. It's interesting that they chose that date, right? It's 9/11, 9/11. So all very, very sort of spooky. So, yeah, 9/11 remembrance. We got 1 minute until this data does release. Let's get these levels on our charts. If you guys could, please press that like button. Press that like button. Let's get to 1,000 likes before the data is released. Boogie nights, it's alright. We just want to party. Boogie nights. All right. We shall see here, folks. Appreciate that, guys, on the 1,000 likes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All righty. 20 seconds. CPI release, guys. CPI. Consumer Price Index. Okay. Little down, but nothing really major. Okay, so really not much of a move here. CPI month over month, 0.3 versus 0.2. Year over year, flat. Huh. Well, very muted for now. Let's see what happens, though. It's still early. So NASDAQ 18,850 rejection. Downside still sort of sliding in a little bit. I mean, a little bit of downside, definitely. It still feels like this is sort of a nothingness move, though. I would have liked to see a little más, por favor. So 54.70, starting to step up slightly. But yeah, clear sort of channel still. 55.06 rejection. 54.70 looks to be stepping up slightly. NASDAQ still holding above that 18.7, but rejecting that 18.850. So pretty much, yeah, not much. Interesting. All right. Well, a little bit of downside, a little scalper if you caught that, maybe a little futures action. I don't know if you're getting freaky like that. Overall, though, really nothing breaking. So interesting. Really nothing breaking. That 54.70 level, holding for now. So that's going to be the key, right? That's going to be the key. 54.70 looks to be the key. Keep an eye on that 5470 right there. That looks major there. 5470. Let's get that CPI number real quick. I know we already talked about it, but I'll get it on the screen. 2.5 versus 2.5. So it is down nicely, right? It is down nicely, right? The number is down, which I think is a positive, right? You can see the number is down. Forecast was aggressive, and it met it. So that's good for the CPI number. Now, whatever you think it should happen to the market, then, up to you. But 2.5, that's in line with expectations versus a previous 2.9. So down year over year on the September reading, which I think is positive for inflation as a whole. How the market responds, another story, of course, as always. Let me go to month over month now. Maybe that month over month is what is causing a little bit of the weakness, because it is up month over month, I believe, was the number. Oh, it's about flat month over month. So 0.2 versus 0.2. What's the X? What's the core CPI? Core CPI. Okay, so core CPI slightly higher, which is X food and energy. So CPI, X food and energy, core CPI slightly higher, 0.1. All right. Wow, 3,400 people here. How how are you? How the hell are you? 3,400 people here. So 5470, guys, that's the key spot, right? Not a pretty muted CPI response here, in my opinion. And if you know, a little bit of futures action, maybe, futures trading here, but nothing that's going to change my decisions on the day yet. Really, I'm just going to continue to watch this supply above at 5506 and then be cautious of that demand at 5470 and that 5440, right? It's the exact same trade as yesterday. Really nothing changing here. On terms of the NASDAQ, it's still that 18,850. We know that, right? Very nice. And we know that the 18.7 level is holding for now. So, hey, I don't mind this, right? Because levels are respected, and we can trade this as we always do. So let's continue to do this, right? 18,850, 18.7. Let's watch those levels today. As of now, it just looks like we're sort of stuck in between them. So let's watch these two levels here. All right. Let's continue. Let's go to Tesla. So Tesla has been a very strong name lately. Tesla has been a little bit in a move of its own. And yesterday, 219 was pretty nice. 219 on Tesla was very nice, actually. So let me go to the 5-minute chart here on Tesla. You guys can see this 219 was very valid yesterday. Previous highs on Monday into lows on Tuesday. So that's really clean, right? That 219, love that. Nice longs there. Look for pullbacks to 219 today. Look for pullbacks to 214 today. All right, look for those pullbacks. The level that is very much rejecting still on this market or on Tesla is 226. We got to get over 226. That's a must, right? We can clearly see 226 very tough. So got to be over 226. Very big. If you get over 226, I like Tesla for more. But at this point, if you are seeing the market sort of stay slightly weak, I'd expect Tesla to stay slightly weak off 226. I'd probably only touch longs on Tesla back at 219. Okay. NVIDIA, man, it sort of smells like an opportunity to me, right? I'm smelling opportunity here. I'm getting whiffs of it across, my desk, right? It's sort of flowing across my desk. I'm like, what was that, right? I'm really trying to stop myself from going for it. I'm really trying to stop myself. For now, I'm just buying some shares to be conservative. But I am definitely intrigued by what NVIDIA is doing down here in terms of sort of consolidation and, accumulation, right? I am not opposed to being one of the people that's accumulating something down here, right? If there's accumulation going down here, I want to be a part of that party, right? Don't leave without me, okay? I am never going to, right, be scared of taking some risk at, periods like this, after downside like this, at major key levels like this, right? Never going to just be like, hey, I'm too scared to do that, and I'm too worried about what someone else thinks of me if I take a long here. Guys, you answer to yourself in trading, okay? At the end of the day, I don't care what people online say. You shouldn't care what people online say. You need to take the chances that you like. That's what you need to do in trading. So I'm here to tell you what I look for. If you don't like it, then F you, man. All right? And that comes from a place of kindness, to be quite honest, right? I shouldn't care, and neither should other people care, and neither should you care what people think, right? It's an F you in the most kind way, right? You need to take chances that you like, right? That is what trading is all about. If you don't take this, if you like NVIDIA down here and you don't take it because you see online, right? Oh, Twitter's bearish on NVIDIA, or, CNBC says, nah, right? And then you don't take the trade, and then it goes straight up, and you're like, what the fuck, right? Take the chances you like. Don't let outside influence do too much to what you like, right? Get an education, right? Get an education from others, right? Get an idea, bring those ideas in, bring them in, right? But at the end of the day, it's you, right? And it's you. And for me, absolutely, I am adding exposure down here. Absolutely, right? For the long-term look. In terms of options, no. I don't have any aggressive options down here, but I'm absolutely buying more shares. I bought more shares on Monday. I will continue to buy more shares for the long term on NVIDIA. No doubt. right? No doubt. So something to watch here. Definitely need to get over 110, right? Definitely need to get over 110. If you get over 110 in the 100 SMA, guys, please look at this, right? 4-hour chart, okay? This is straight down. If you get over 110 in the 100 SMA, this will go straight up, okay? I really do. I would almost put a lot of money on that. I think that is very, very likely, right? If you do get over 110 and you do see strong support on the market and you do see NVIDIA and the semis stay strong, you will go straight up to 116 because this went straight down from 116 to 110. So watch this trade from 110 to 116. This is definitely something to watch. That's if you get over 110, okay? We're not over 110 yet, okay? That's something you need to understand too, right? Desi said NVIDIA is going to 116, right? And it never went over 110, right? So you have to get real holds above this area. Real holds, right? So that's the key, right? And if it rejects 110 again today, then it's not going to do it, right? And if that market stays weak, then it's not going to do it, okay? It's not going to happen if this market stays weak, which it sort of is today, right? So it's really not going to do it if that market stays weak. You can see right here that ES is still just sort of sitting in the middle of this area, right? And sort of staying weak. So if we don't see any strength on this market, NVIDIA will reject 110, and that is something you need to be paying attention to as well today. You got to look at both sides here, right? If you're looking short term and the market's weak today, this 110 rejection is definitely a play, no doubt. So keep an eye on that too. All right. SMH. What I want to see SMH try to hold this 221 level. That's going to be very important to me. 221. I'm keeping an eye on that today. SMH off the 200 SMA is something I'm very interested in. If you go to the daily chart, you guys can see right here that 200 SMA is really something that's intriguing me. I'd like to see a little bit of strength on the SMH today over this 221.40. This is something I will be watching. If we can get over this 221.40, over these lows, and we can hold above it, and we can maintain this level, that's something that I will be watching for some upside on semiconductors. But again, that is going to depend on what this NASDAQ does today. That is going to depend on what this ES does today. As of right now, I'm seeing sort of this continued weakness on this ES. I'm seeing some continued weakness on the NASDAQ here. And if that sort of continues to stay in and we can't get above this 18,850, guys, then I really don't know if I expect the SMH to do this. So, yeah, we're starting to see some rejections on that market at our key level, right, our 18,850, and we need to be aware of that. That is starting to be something to be watching here, okay? All right, let's continue. Let's go to AMD. I think AMD is an interesting setup here. I would be watching AMD to pull back to 140 today. This would be an interesting watch for me. Watch this pull back to 140. This was previous lows, previous highs, previous highs. If we get a pullback to 140 here, I'm going to be watching to see if there's a long off that level today. So 140 on AMD, that's something I'm watching. Broadcom, very strong yesterday to fill the gap. Really nice comeback. 150 is the key level. This was another stock that I bought some shares on, guys. So here's sort of some of the share buys I took the other day. Bought $1,500 worth of Broadcom at 138, and then bought some NVIDIA at 106. So $1,000 worth, nothing crazy, right? This is what I mean by, dipping my toes. $1,000 here, $1,000 there, nothing crazy. So I did buy a little bit of Broadcom and NVIDIA, some Broadcom at 138, which is working out nicely now. But we do need to get over this 150 level. That looks to be the key on Broadcom. If we can get over this 150, that would be a more upside continuation that I'd look for. MU is another one that's at an extreme low, but we do need to see semiconductor strength because this one's just sort of dead. I'd be watching that 85 still. SMH today over 221.40 is the key, man. If we don't get that, then the semis are going to stay weak. NASDAQ really just not going anywhere right now. So, yeah, nothing really going on here. Apple, wanted to talk about Apple real quick. Apple, I would definitely keep close eyes on this 215 level, guys, on Apple. 215 is a big spot here. 215, right? All these 215 tests. and you're sort of trading lower into 215, I'd be watching to see if 215 can hold here on Apple. 215, big spot, right? On the 4-hour and on the daily chart. You can see this little, dare I call this like some kind of an inverse head and shoulder on Apple off 215. This is a very interesting spot on Apple. I'd be watching that. I would also be watching Amazon today because Amazon has had some pretty nice relative outperformance lately. I would be watching to see if Amazon can hold above 179 today. Over 179, that is a very interesting spot, right? Look at these highs, right? Look at this. Previous highs, look at it trying to hold above that. So if Amazon can hold over 179 today, I think you can see more. So I would definitely watch that. But if the market is weak and we fail 179, then that's done there. But 179 Amazon, very clear. Let's go to Palantir real quick. Yeah, Palantir. I want to show you guys this 4-hour flag, man. This is an interesting trade. All right, take a look at this. I feel like Palantir could be sort of building a little 4-hour flag here, no doubt. Right, you can see previous highs here, and Palantir had a nice breakout, little 4-hour pullback so far. If this starts to hold like this 33.13, I definitely think there's something here. But you need to hold 33.13. That is without a doubt a must, right? You have to hold that previous high. An interesting little trade, interesting little pullback that's been going on. But you have to hold these highs. That is a must on this pullback. All right, so look for Palantir to test this low. If Palantir tests this 33 again and starts to find that strength, this could be a really interesting trade. I would watch that 33 level. Okay. Yeah, I'll talk about JPM because JPM definitely had a big drop yesterday and should be in a little bit of focus here today. JPM, I mean, I don't really like doing technicals on JPM. It's really, and yesterday was not a technical move, right? That was more of a, Jamie Dimon talking about his stock type move. I think that's what it was about, right? Didn't he say we're not buying our stock? Something like that. Something along those lines. Anyways, it was definitely not a technical move on JP Morgan yesterday. So I'm not really that much of a fan of like trading this off technicals, but I would say this 100 SMA and this 202 spot, that looks to be very important, right? Take a look at this. You can see JP Morgan definitely trying to sort of find something around this 202 and this 100 SMA. So I would watch that. I would definitely watch that. For now, you got to let this settle, right? You got to let this settle. Let's go to Kava. Yeah, Kava's got some really nice levels. We can see right here. Kava, 118 and 122. That's a very clear channel, right? You can see right there. So I would be watching that. If you break under 118, you trade down into 115. If you break over 122, you trade into 125. Very clear levels here on Kava. Here's your little channel. That's your 4-point channel to be watching. Kurt's telling us what to do, right? Kurt is in the live stream telling us what to trade. Again, this is a bad thing to do, right? You don't need to come online and tell people what to trade. It's not necessary. I would challenge Kurt to say this could be a very interesting pullback on the XLF, right? This is a previous triple top high that you have pushed higher and now pulled back to. So I would say the XLF, I would be careful of shorting it into 44, right? I don't think that's that good of a short down into those previous highs, right? Previous high, and previous high. Now, if Kurt knows something that's, fundamentally driven, then sure, right? Kurt maybe knows that the banks will go down fundamentally, which is possible, right? I'm not saying it's not. But in terms of technicals, right, 44 does not look like a spot I'd short. If anything, I would short the XLF if I see it fail back under this and turn this into a now quadruple top, right? If I see the XLF turn 44 into rejections, then I'd say, all right, that could be a nice little rejection play. So, yeah, I'd watch that. All right, let's go to the NASDAQ. What are we doing? Man, it's sort of holding, right? This is... Look at that 54.70 stepping up, huh? Interesting. I mean, that's a pretty decent step up there at 54.70. It looks like we're just going to have to trade the levels, right? TTL today. TTL. But man, do I hate to see a CPI reaction stay within a channel. Man, do I hate to see that. I really don't like to see that. And that is exactly what you're doing. So 5506, 5470, and a good hold. I'd be very careful shorting into 5470 today. Okay? I'd be very careful shorting into the 100 SMA. Let's go to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's sort of holding this 18.7 too. So pretty decent holds, I'd say, right now. I would say in terms of economic data, it was a good reading for CPI. Now, we know how, whatever you hate, right? I know people out there, I hate, they're lying, CPI is fake, whatever. Whatever your preconceived notion is, I don't care what you think about that. I don't care what you think the market should do. I could give less of a shit. It was a good number in terms of the CPI, okay? 2.5 versus an expectation of 2.5, which was 4 basis points below the previous reading. That is good in terms of the CPI number. What you think about that and what you think it should do to the market, I don't care. That is not what I'm here to debate. So that's that. All right. I think that's it, guys. NASDAQ futures, we know our levels. At least I know my levels. 18,850, 18,7, no doubt. We talked about this even before CPI, and they stay, and the levels are still respecting. 5506, 5470, very nice. We know our levels, and that is what we're going to trade today. So hope you guys enjoyed today's. I hope you learned something. I hope you have a good setup, a good plan for the day. That's my goal here. I appreciate you guys pressing that like button, man. 1,500 of you pressing it today. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And great luck today. AAP, let's see. What did the AAP boys do lately? Nope. The AAP boys have not got that downside under control yet. The spiral is still spiraling. So, AAP boys, man, go get them. Go get that oil. Better go get that car serviced over there. All right. Press that like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love.